Today is all about energy levels, making sure that we have a very steady amount of energy in our system throughout the day instead of crashing and burning. And so, as you can see in the title here, I was someone who went from feeling very, very exhausted just by doing simple social media stuff for my business for like 1 to 2 hours to now being very, very much energetic in a way where I can run a 5K at 5 a.m., go at 7 a.m. onto a training for conversational hypnosis for 6 hours where I am the co-host and not crash and burn. This just happened the other day, and it's really good to look back at this and the increased capacity to handle more things throughout the day. And no, I am not going to say that this is a magic pill. I'm just going to click my fingers and this is going to happen. This actually took some consistent daily work on myself to be able to expand this capacity. And this is what I'm talking about here today. It's not going to be a quick fix. It's not going to be a pill that I'm going to give you. Once I have that pill, I will let you know. But at this moment in time, there is no pill. And really, what this is really working with ourselves, in particular, working with our nervous system and expanding its capacity to handle more by knowing which state we are in. Because if we are in survival mode, which I was back then when I could only handle 1 to 2 hours of work, I was um hovering between the survival states of fight or flight and shutdown. I was hovering between those, and I was even in freeze in a lot of the times. That's why I really couldn't increase my capacity. And so I'm going to talk about today is the window of tolerance. And this is a concept that is going to be better on video, on visual. So I'm going to share my screen in a minute. But what this truly is, this window of tolerance, once you wrap your mind around this and map yourself out, this is going to make a lot of sense, especially if we're finding that, we're too tired all the time. We're exhausted, even just by a little bit of work. That could be that we're just so dysregulated internally. Our nervous system just hasn't had the opportunity to discharge the extra stress that we've put on chronically. And that's why we can't handle more, because really we're just full to the brim, and our bodies a lot of the times are either go, 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 or in a state of energy conservation, which is actually a little bit trickier to get out of. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you have any questions at all, let me know. For some reason, this is not showing on my screen. Just give me a minute. I'm going to make sure that we are live. We are live. So, what the actual hell? Okay, so we're here. I'm going to share my screen with you and explain the concept of the window of tolerance. Just give me a second. So if you have any questions at all with regards to any with regards to energy level, definitely drop them off here as I figure this out. Happy to answer them. There you go. We are here. So this is, if you look at this, it looks kind of overwhelming because of the different colors, but this is the window of tolerance. So for someone who has a very regulated nervous system, their stress levels are in a state, then this is what it would look like. So theoretically, we definitely want to aim for this, right? And what this picture really shows us and what this means is that this person is mostly in the green side. So if this was a snapshot of a 24-hour time period of someone's life who is regulated, then most of the time in that 24 hours, they are hanging out beautifully in here in the normal regulated state, where they have enough energy in their system to be able to do things that they want to do. At the same time, they have enough time to rest, their sleeps are interrupted, and they are able to slow down as well. They can meet the demands and slow down at the same time and have that harmonious balance between the two states. And so what happens if we're dysregulated is that this green part here becomes lower. So in 24 hours, we're hanging out more in either a fight or flight sympathetic nervous system state, or we're hypoaroused and we are in a shutdown or freeze state, and we're hanging out more instead of hanging out more in the regulated state. And we hover, ebb and flow through all of these states during the day. There's really not one flat line. We want to understand that we as humans are dynamic and we switch back and forth. It's just when we take a big picture look at our 24-hour day, what does it look like? Is it more like this when we're dysregulated? Or is it more like this when we're more regulated? And when I was in that exhaustion after 1 to 2 hours of work, this was what my nervous system looked like. And based on the circumstances of that time period, it makes total sense. So when we are hanging out here in this state of dysregulation, where we're not finding that flow and that safety within our bodies, this is a body thing, not just a mind thing. When we're not feeling safe in our bodies and we're only, say, hanging out here 20% of the time, and when something happens, like we get an email or we are in a program, we're trying to learn something and we're just so overwhelmed, we feel anxious because we are overwhelmed, then we're hanging out a lot here in this, like in the hyperarousal sympathetic state. Or we do try to do something like maybe work out, and it just and normally, even though we work out, say, for 30 minutes, and usually we're good after that, because of the amount of stress chronically, then that half an hour feels like a struggle, and it just leads us down the hypoarousal state of shutdown. Like, we're exhausted. We can't even do anything with our bodies, even if we wanted to, right? We want to, but we can't. And so when this is the pattern that we're seeing from day to day, then this could potentially mean that there's a lot of dysregulation within our system. And just recognizing this on its own is very, very empowering, because it makes sense, right? It made sense that back then 2 hours was really a lot for me, because there was a lot going on at that moment in time during that time of my life. And I really wasn't in a state of this normalcy, of this flow a lot of the times, just because that became my new homeostasis. And so flash forward it to now, where I would go for a run and maybe I would go up here because my heart rate is all the way up. I now know how to down regulate and come back here right after that run, so that when I went into the 6-hour call, then I was hanging out here most of the time, and I'm not just up here, and I'm able to tolerate a lot without crashing and burning. Because if you can see here in dysregulation, if you try to do something here, right, no wonder we crash and burn, because everything is red. So hopefully this visual made sense. And I really want to talk about this because, whoopsie, there we go. I really want to talk about this because sometimes there is a lot of frustration in our end when we're like, holy shit, like I used to be able to do so many things, but then XYZ happened, and then everything spiraled from there, and now I can no longer do it. Well, if you see that those two different states, we just were in a dysregulated state for a chronically long time, that it became our new normal. It became our new normal to feel tired all the time, to feel exhausted all the time. It felt the new homeostasis of not taking action because we can't in our bodies became the normal for us. And so when we can understand this in a deep level, and inside the neuroplasticity jumpstart workshop, this is explained in a lot more detail, and all the different states that happen and all the different symptoms. Because once you are able to really learn what the symptoms are, from like what is green, what is yellow, and what is red, and how do these particular states feel in my body, in my unique body, and how can I make sure that I hang out in the green more often, and training our bodies to go back to green most of the day is really, it is the reason why I'm able to really expand my energy, maintain energy levels throughout the day without crashing and burning, without injury in my workouts, working out every day without injury, having enough recovery, because it's really all about learning the flow, learning how to go up when we need to go up, learning when to come down when we need to come down. That skill set on its own. Can you just imagine how amazingly um, useful that would be for your skills? Like, why do you want to even maintain your energy levels, right? What are your plans? Do you have big ass plans for the future? Are you thinking that 2024 is going to be your year? If so, optimize your health so that you can get there, right? Set yourself up for success, and have this long-term thinking.